So welcome, brothers. We're about to put on our foundational workshop called The Peaceful Warrior. So whether you're watching this from around the world and able to join us, or whether you're just learning about what it is that we're doing, we'd invite you into considering the archetype of the peaceful warrior and what it has to do with your life and meaning in your life. You know, I love that there are these archetypal themes or images that surface throughout almost all traditions and spiritual traditions. So there's a peaceful warrior in almost every spiritual tradition, sometimes called a new warrior, a spiritual warrior, a heartful warrior, sometimes even a warrior, but always meaning something very close to the same thing. In ancient Buddhism is the definition that we use in our work, both in the Missing Thread and Flesh and Spirit community work. And the meaning for the peaceful warrior is one who's willing to know oneself and one who's willing to face one's fears. And I don't know about you, but there's a lot going on in the world, certainly in my personal world, but in our larger world together. And as queer men especially, the things that we face in our world, in our personal lives, being willing to know ourselves, being willing to look in the mirror and face our own fears so that we can really heal and come into more liberation and be of greater service, not only to ourselves, but to the whole world. And that's the work of the peaceful warrior. In our workshop, we'll actually do a lot of experiential work. It's all clothed work in this particular workshop. And in the workshop, we'll be going through some themes that have to do with being a peaceful warrior, like really being your own authority. Knowing that the bottom line, it's your body, it's your experience, it's your world that you get to define what's true and truth for you. So being your own authority is a key element of being a peaceful warrior. Being able to set boundaries for yourself and to change those boundaries as you need to, knowing that you're ever changing and the world is ever changing, so the boundaries that you may have made a year ago may not be the boundaries that you need to really take care of yourself and be most self-loving today. Things like asking for help. You know, we're living in a world where much is being threatened on lots of levels, and asking for help in building community is really, I believe, a prophetic path for all of us to work not as independent beings, but actually to find our way into being more interdependent with each other. So asking for help, I believe, is really an important variable. And most of us have some old stories. You know, I don't know about you, but I didn't grow up in a family where asking for help was shown or demonstrated to me in a really healthy way. So that story of what I experienced is in my body, in my cellular mass. And the more I can make that shift through experiential work and learn how to ask for help energetically in a different way, the results of what I'm going to get back is oftentimes going to be different as well. And I'm certainly going to feel freer. And the other thing about this process, so we've talked about being your own authority, expanding or setting boundaries, asking for help. Another one is about really living in your yes and your no. You know, it's kind of like when you had your first coming out experience. It may have been a good one, a bad one, a sexual experience that just took you over the top. But, you know, those things of how much yes and how much no do you experience is what we'll be listening to in this workshop. So it's really yummy stuff, because what we put out, we're going to get back. And if you're putting out a full yes, then you're going to get back something that really feels like a full yes. So these are some of the keys to what we're going to play with in the workshop called The Peaceful Warrior. And we look forward to hanging out with you and actually transforming our lives so that we can be more whole, more free, and more available for service in the world. The world needs us. So, brothers, thank you. Namaste.